I wasn't late, Vish. I was here. It wasn't letting me start. I've been trying to start stream since 57. It just wasn't letting me. Chat, I'm going to do something a little aggressive out the gate and take a smaller long here with 8 micros. Just off the hold of yesterday's low. So I'm going to take the risk on this for like an initial one on this account. And then see if we do hold or not. So I'm going to throw a hard stop at 500. This will likely be the only trade on this account. Because I am being a little bit riskier. And then I'm just going to take it up to there for a little front run. But chat, how we doing? I'm doing good, FSC. How you doing? All right, let's go here. Let's get this situated real quick. We're going to hit another banger with me today. We'll see what we get. This first trade is going to be a little more aggressive, but I'm taking it off of yesterday's low. ES already swept yesterday's low. I think we do get somewhat of a move up throughout the overnight into tomorrow. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition, but I'm willing to take a stab at that potential. All right, let me pin this. Perfect, now we're good. Let's run our normal poll. But how you guys doing, chat? I would be shocked if this poll wasn't primarily bearish. I would be. Because lately the structure has obviously been more bearish than bullish. Do you think having trader buddies IRL helps? It does. I'm not like I obviously have trader buddies. I have Jake, Zach, Callan, a lot of people that I've talked to. A lot of you guys actually DM me a lot and we have conversations, which I love. But I don't have any in person. So I don't know what that's like. I've never like lived next to or near somebody who trades. But no, it definitely does. And one of the biggest reasons for that is if I go up to one of my friends, or let's even say my parents, even though my parents would be more reasonable with it. But if I go up to someone who doesn't know anything about trading, and they ask how my day's been, and I just said, shit day, just not good trading. And they ask, was the market bad? It's like, no, I just didn't follow my rules and executed poorly. What I've noticed is their number one response is just follow your rules. It's just like, damn, brother. I don't know if I would have ever thought about that one. I don't know if I've ever even remotely come to that conclusion. Around the 5-minute time frame on both charts, yes. This is just ES and NQ 5-minute. Trying to convince your brother-in-law to trade just so I have someone to talk to about trading? Hell yeah. I mean, in reality, though, I think the sickest thing would be not just like have someone that you know personally trade, but you trade in the same room or same office. I feel like it'd be way harder to break the rules or like tilt your ass off if you're trading next to somebody you know. I just feel like that'd be a really good situation to be in. What up, SoFan? MF, we'll see if it hits. It's the risk I'm willing to take on this. What up, Simon? They'd be saying, what was that noise? All you hear, it's you're trading. All you hear on the computer next to you, just order filled 19 times. And you're like, oh shit, buddy's going through it. Chris, if you're day to day with someone, no, not normally. Because in reality, we all know if the market's been trending well, if it's been shit. I mean, it doesn't hurt to like ask people, hey, just how'd you do today? I'm sure it'll come up in small talk, but it's not like deep, in-depth conversations. I've had deep conversations with all of them about trading in person, over text, whatever it is. But if you live with someone, it's probably not going to be an everyday thing, for sure. What up, Ardalan? The one day we trade NQ, ES is a little bit stronger. It does help ES swept yesterday's lows and is trying to get back above. That's currently what I'm going to be watching. NQ around last week's lows, ES around yesterday's lows. So I'm going to focus on those two little pivots here. If we get above, I do like this trade. If we end up rejecting, pushing back lower, we may sweep lows again. The poll's going exactly how I expected with 53% bearish. There's still a chance we see. I'm really torn on what I expect tomorrow on a broader scale. And I'll go over that in a few minutes once a couple more people jump in. Put that over there. There we go. I don't have a trading buddy either, just me by myself. It'd be like that. That's how most people are. Because not many people get into trading, and most that do end up getting out of it before anything comes to fruition. It's a hard career to start to get into. Just because mentally it's so taxing. Yeah, 1 HP. I'm definitely willing to take stabs sometime. Like today, this is just taking a stab on a trade. As long as your risk is managed with it, I think on this one I would lose just under like 500. I would lock this account out for the day. This account would be done. Which is when I'm willing to take that little stab. But chat, how'd you guys trade today? Because I know we had some decent downtrending overnight. By the way, where we targeted on NQ was the fucking high. Like, we missed our fill yesterday by like 2 points or less than 2 points on this wick. That was the absolute high to a free fall overnight. So I'm sure a lot of you guys absolutely crushed it throughout the night session, which is awesome. I got the short in the overnight. Hell yeah. Someone on stream was short at like 213, which was pretty close to the top. You just rotate accounts? Yes, I do. I either take a smaller risk stop loss trade on an account, It depends how many I want for that account. Or I'll give myself one bigger loss, and if it loses, I'm out of that account, and I'll just go to a different one. Mainly because I don't want to yeet an account or blow an account in one day for the most part. It's just something I really don't want to do, and I try to avoid it as much as I can, and that's kind of what I've noticed helps me. Any advice for someone who can only trade agent session? Gavin, just pay attention to the session, how it reacts, and adapt to it. There's going to be days lately that have been heavily consolidated, but typically after that 10:30 window, you get some really nice moves as well if the early session doesn't move. So there's a few different windows. There's this 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. window where you get the initial opens, and then there's that 10:30 to about 1 a.m. window. Those are the two main time slots I trade during the overnight. And then occasionally, if the market's moving well with Allen and I'm still up, I'm still trading. I have no problem trading that. But there's 3 little sectors that I split it up into that I'm willing to trade. Filled so many evals, My Funder Futures gave you a free one. Congrats, I think. I don't know if I should be saying congrats to that or I'm sorry. But either way, GG's on the free eval. All right, chat. Some of you guys might have just hopped on. Some of you may have been on a little bit earlier when I mentioned the overall skepticism for either direction, but I'm going to dive into it real quick. First off, for those of you that may be new, this is Project 365. Yes, I am in a higher risk NQ trade right now. This is Project 365. Obviously, there's 5 of us to stream every single day. I'm Ron G. To not full port. Well, Hitch, the entire stream just saw that, so nice. But I'm Ron G. I trade 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We also have Alan that does the pre-London session, Jake on New York Open, and Mitch and Lamelli that do the after hours. Lamelli was obviously out of town today. He was traveling for the most part. But we are doing this for 365 days throughout the next year. We're on week, 13? Somewhere around there? Because we started April 14th. So we're coming on week 13, which is crazy how fast this has moved. But with these charts, the reason I'm a little skeptical on the bearish aspect, yes, these charts are fucking ugly. They are pretty damn bearish when you look at both of these on this current 4-hour trend. However, for me, it is really hard to want to aggressively short right here after this move. Can we continue lower? Yes. I'm in my one stab at the moment on this account to see if we do hold this off of ES sweeping the lows. If we push lower, I'll get stopped out is what it is. But it's very hard for me to want to aggressively, or at least be aggressively bearish right here, because I would like to see a bit of a 4-hour pullback that gets us up a little bit higher, in which we can set that lower high, because then at that point, then I would really love the downside potential. Once that sets up, once we give us that lower high, once we get something that goes like this, where we go up, maybe even retest just last week's lows on ES, then look to pivot back lower, that's where I would really want to be short. For me, at the moment, there's just a lot of potential for any type of squeeze to happen based off of how far we have sold. I'm not saying you can't short. I'm not saying there's no chance I do short. Because I have 2 situations. Either we get that relief rally to the upside and we end up seeing that bit of buying pressure to then see if that resistance is going to hold, or we crack these lows and it's just good night. That is the 2 situations that I'm looking at. Primarily because ES is now already below last week's lows and now fighting today's lows. Obviously, today's more of a bearish close overall. But when you come to NQ, this is what paints the picture of me it possibly holding a little bit more, is this consolidation that we held. Can we still spike down to 450s? Of course. We always can. But we are now fighting last week's lows, or today's lows, and this broader support. This is a really big support on NQ. I'm willing to take the risk that it holds. And I'm not even looking for a crazy move, right? I'm just looking for up into here. Come up, retest this. Retest this 600, 610 area. See how we react to that. If we get above that, I think this chart easily continues the daily range. And I think ES all-time highs are in the picture. So how we react over this overnight in the next probably 2 days paints the entire picture for the coming days to me. And like I said, there's definitely a case to be bearish. 4-hour consolidation bar from New York broke the lows. If it continues, it's going to be aggressive most likely. So I'm kind of just a little skeptical on that, just the fact that I'm willing to take a stab either direction at this point on those, just off the fact if we do bounce. Main reason I take it already is NQ is at that broader daily support. Did hit today's lows, held, didn't spike below, but ES already did. When I got in, ES was back above. I would just need ES to get back above 710s. If it gets back above 710s, we're likely going to go test the open. Above the open, that thesis of the overall pullback really comes into play. So I'm going to take a few stabs tonight no matter what. Probably just one per account depending on sizing and risk. With me trading MNQ, probably just going to go that way. What just happened? There we go. But I'm going to take that little bit of a stab on that risk here. So over ES, it's 7710s that I want to keep an eye on. If we end up getting above that, I can lean to the upside. Anything holding below that leans more bearish to me, at least towards an NQ sweep of today's lows, which is going to be around 29,514s. If we get, hold, and break below 29,514s, I think this chart can get pretty aggressively to the downside. So that's why my stop is slightly below it at 500. This is a little bit of a wider stop than I need structure-wise, but that's just where I'm willing to take the risk on it. With that as well, though, VIX didn't have the most bullish candle. Yes, we gapped up again. It's nothing crazy, though. We're just coming up, retesting that 16s area. We rejected a decent bit with a little bit of buying pressure into the end of the day. And a lot of the charts are just at a point where I really want to see what tomorrow brings. If VIX breaks today's lows, the market's fine. Obviously, there's a lot of outside catalysts as well that are impacting this, but I'm just looking at the things that I look at. VIX is more of a neutral daily close. Can go either way. Obviously, it's continuing to hold 15.6. If it does get above 16, this chart, overall market, likely going to be bearish. Gold, thus far, a little weak. I feel like there's not a whole lot to say here on gold. I mean, you can mark today's lows and trade off of that if you want. So we do have yesterday's lows right below us. We have a pretty bearish daily close towards the lower end of the range. Retesting this 4-hour support area around like 400 to 375s. I'm not overly interested in gold. Gold's a chart I just want to see how it reacts. Because it can, if it does hold this support, it can go right back up to 420s without much hesitation. It's not really much that I think I can see there on it. Unless it gets back above the open. If it sweeps today's lows and buys back up, then it'd be a lot more interesting. But I just really like the potential of a hold on NQ and ES today. Technically, they get out of their stop and not willing to risk anymore. Hitch, who gets out of their stop and not willing to risk anymore? Got short in the overnight. Hell yeah. Read that. Read that. Bish, for now, it's a short-term long into the resistance that I want to see how we react to. If we get back over 600s, I'm really not overly bearish. Primarily looking at an aspect of something kind of like this. Now, I'm not saying we're just going to get a massive, fully engulfing daily reversal candle, but we came down, closed weak, didn't even sweep the lows, and then just got that buying pressure right back up. Obviously, ES is near the prior all-time highs. Didn't quite get there yet. There's a chance it does, which could be a bearish case right there. But I'm watching the NQ. Because the NQ is at a very large daily support from these prior swing lows. So I'm watching that thesis potentially play out, which is why I'm willing to take at least the short-term risk on a trade. What up, A-Trades? What up, Jeff? Rag, did you just say you had 130 drawdown left and you made 3.8K on it? You lost it all today? Damn. That might be one of that is worse than just blowing an account. Cause you get all the hope back in the world. And then it just gets rugged off that little mistake and miscalculation. Sorry to hear that, brother. I have a funded intraday trailing account. Would you trade that different compared to an end of day account? Ryan, I do. I wouldn't trade it necessarily too much different than I've been trading lately. Lately on stream, I'm going to take this trade. I have a hard target here. Like my exit on this is a hard target. Also for consistency reasons, but it's a hard target. So if we end up getting up there, I'm full out of this. I'm willing to look for new entries at that point. That is how I like to trade intraday. Like if I do get TPT accounts, which I'm still stalking, I'm very close to just buying 5 of them for the hell of it. Then yes, at that point, I would be fully willing to. Or at least that's how I would trade it, is I want the hit and runs. So it's either going to be, like Jake talks about, it's either going to be hit and runs or you go for that one big trade that gets you past the drawdown. I like the hit and run thesis because the one big trade is either your account's nuked or you get past it. And I just don't love that unless I'm in my degen phase, which sometimes happens. NQ and ES both have came up, tested the open. We need to see a push above this for continuation. We do. Thus far, though, structure's great. Everything's moving phenomenally. We have volatility, which is sick. I haven't seen that in a minute. But let's see if we can get above the opens. Yeah, 1 HP agreed. I know you're talking about a different area, but if we reclaim the open, agreed wholeheartedly. Good thing, though, with this same move, I just got my last day logged or capped on a Lucid eval. So I just got a new pro account with that. So let's upgrade that to funded real quick. If this trade hits or stops, maybe that's the next account we trade. Hop over to Lucid and go for the funded accounts there. I missed this move. Were you watching for this move, banker? Because if you weren't, you didn't miss a damn thing. Not many people are going to want to buy this low as we come down and hit this area. I mean, it's an aggressive entry. It is. And I know that. Will it still go up if that long wick? I don't really care about this wick on NQ because we're volatile right now. Right? We're actually decently volatile during this session. For me, it's just going to be, are we going to be able to get above this? There's a chance we easily get above this. At the same time, though, if you look at the 15, if it does slam back lower, it's going to be an ugly 15 minute. We have 3.5 minutes to hopefully get back up near the open to get a really strong 15-minute close. If it didn't happen, I would have had max payout again. Rag, were you already set for a payout? Like after you made that profit? Can I ask what's your entry model? Just multi-time frame analysis and overall structure, brother. With a big hint of just intuition and risk management. So it's just focusing on the overall structure of the candles. Like this long is off of a daily support on NQ while ES also swept and held yesterday's lows. So I have the multi-time frame and structure on NQ as well as the conviction with ES sweeping lows and then getting bought back up. Yeah, the NQ candle for definitely not a summer candle. Captain Lasagna, maybe, just maybe, we can get some momentum tonight. If we get it, we can get a few entries to one direction, I'm in. What I don't want to see, though, is us hold below the open, because then we're stuck. This trade's still active. Yeah, you can look right below my name. You should be able to see the P&L. Yep. You can see everything right below my picture. I got stop loss and profit. Hell yeah, young. Rag, the main thing I would just ask yourself, obviously you don't have to have a deep conversation with me on stream, is just, why did you not want to just take that profit and walk? That's the number one thing you could just ask. Hold below which open? The blue line is the Asia or the Globex session open. So this overnight session, that's the open right there. The blue line on any chart that I show. Have you been sizing up? Yes and no, I guess. I mean, this one's only, it is 8 MNQ, but it's only a 30-point stop. It is a little more expensive of a risk. I think it's like 470-ish on it. But I wouldn't necessarily say sizing up, because let's say I was risking 300 on this. I'd be willing to lose 2 trades on this account before I locked it out. Right now, if I lose this 470, that's the trade on this account, and I'm locking it out right there. So I'm not really sizing up. I'm just being willing to be a little more aggressive with one trade on certain accounts with a little bit wider of a stop. And if that trade misses, that account's out of the rotation. Rag, I feel it though. You feel a bit burnt out, dude. I'm gonna be honest. Ever since I've been trading NQ the last few days, I've been a little fucking aggressive with it. I have been. I wouldn't say over traded, but I've definitely been trading a lot more. Probably doesn't help with how many accounts I have at the moment, and I'm just trying to rotate through them, but I definitely feel like I'm trading a lot more than I usually do. Made a customer wait in their delivery. Why made a trade in New York session? Hell yeah. I'm surprised more people don't use NFP highs and lows. I guess they eventually get those on a chart. This is it. Yeah, 1 HP. It's all just different ways of finding the support resistance that you believe works. There's nothing wrong with that. Cole, this one is an eval. It's a Tradeify Select that I capped out the consistency yesterday. And then if this trade hits, it caps it out again today. We choose break even if it comes down? Probably not. I'll choose break even if we get above the open. But right now, structure hasn't really shifted. If I moved my stop, it would go up to yesterday's low, which I don't hate at like 514s. But for me, at the moment, I'm just leaving it there. I'm going to watch to see if it gets above the open or not. I'm not going to break even because if this pulls back whatsoever, my support is right here, which is 4 points above my entry. And if it hits that support, it's likely going to wick down and hit my entry because it's NQ. Stream just paused twice. Let me look. So far, I haven't dropped any frames. So it's likely not me. So I got a 150K TPT account, but this one is my last for a while, not gonna lie. Yeah, Rag, just trade it slow. If it's your last account for a while, just make it so that way you can't lose it in, let's say, 4 days. Right. Make it so that way you have 5+ trades in which you can take before that account even sniffs the drawdown. Obviously, it's going to be harder with TPT because you do have trailing, which kind of sucks. But just make it so you can trade it longer. Yeah, I hate using new brokers. I will not use a new prop firm if they don't have a broker I know. Because I don't like learning new brokers while trading. That's what I'm thinking too. ES swept the low of today and Q since it has more room till open, more volatility. Agreed. Off topic, but I really hate this YouTube app update for iPhone. I don't think mine's updated yet. So thanks for the fact that I get to look forward to that. NFP highs and lows has insane data backing it. Interesting. It's maybe something I have to keep an eye on a little bit. But that's also why I marked yesterday's highs, lows, last week's highs and lows. Right? Pretty solid structure and data to go off of those where you're likely going to see liquidity sitting. So I really love watching how those react. How far do you expect this to go? Wild side trader. For now, I'm looking for just under 66 points on this. And then I'm going to assess the market after that. I think we could go back up to 610s. But it's my question there is if we break 610s, if we break the 610 resistance area, I think we can go decently higher. I do. I'm not overly bearish, but I'm also not overly bullish. Like I'm not blindly in this trade saying this is going to rip 300, 400 points. Could it? Maybe, but not. I'm not expecting that. I'm just looking for little hit and runs, this little like 2.25 R trade, and then see what the market does after that. Chat, am I lagging right now? Hang on. I'm cruising on upload. I haven't dropped a single frame at all. Simon says no. You're not lagging. He just got shit internet. Fair. KMK, if I'm 30 seconds behind, that likely means your stream buffered. Go to the bottom left of your video and click the live button. Because there should be at most a 5-second delay. But something to always keep in mind. Sometimes OBS will lag. It hasn't yet. Also, YouTube lives at times are complete trash. It's a flawless website, but there are times, even when I'm watching other streams like Jake's, Lamelli's, Mitch's, or Alan's, it'll buffer for me as well. But I can tell you on my end, I haven't dropped a single frame, so I should not be buffering. Quality may drop a little bit at times, but that's because I have it set to do that, so it doesn't buffer. I've been trading the same eval for almost a month. Nothing wrong with that, Gavin. Everyone goes at different paces. 1HP, you have your kitchen TV. You know you're bougie when you have your TVs hardwired into your internet. What's your strategy with hit and run plays? How do you calculate the risk to reward? For this one, it's just looking for high a day. It's just looking to see if we end up holding last week's lows. If we do get the momentum that I want, just getting back up to the high of the session. Trading this overall range for the most part, getting up to here and then assessing how we react to that and what we do next. For hit and runs, I want to catch a leg of the move. I don't need to catch the entire move. I want to catch a leg, maybe two, depending on how it moves. And then reassess the chart, see what I need to do, see what it's doing, and then see if there's another opportunity. Whereas if I was trading more aggressive, where let's say I was targeting 200 points on NQ, this stop would probably be drastically wider. I would be in this trade and I would not care what happens whatsoever until it either got completely changed structure to the upside and I trailed stop or it hit my stop. But it's the same strategy overall. It's just lower expectations. What made the biggest difference for you between being unprofitable and getting your first payout? The biggest difference is likely just risk management. Because a lot of people don't do that whatsoever. Are you watching live chat or top chat? Live chat, brother. I always watch live chat because some people's comments get blocked and I want to be able to see them. But no, it's just managing the risk. Once you have a strategy, trading gets drastically easier as long as your risk is in check. Like if this trade hits, it's 2.25 art and I'm up a decent amount on the night. I could then technically lose 2 more trades and still be somewhat profitable if I use the exact same size and risk. You're long when I'm short. This can't be good. Peak perform. One of us is going to do well. One of them is. But we do have conviction on our side because thus far, the chat poll does say bearish. Even though we are rejecting right now. And if we get back below last week's lows, I'd likely take a stop on this. But the poll does say bearish, which hasn't been hitting lately. Putting stop loss at your TP and TP at your stop loss. No, Hugh, if you want to do that properly, you have to, if you want to put a stop at my TP, put your stop just above it with an entry just before it. Then you will get the most diabolical entries in the world. What up, Summers? Anyone like GC long? Not at the moment. I would need it above the open for conviction there. We are sweeping yesterday's low, which we mentioned earlier. If it now gets above the open, then maybe. Also, chat, does anyone know why my GC chart did this? Or why this trading view chart did this? This, if you probably can't even see it because it's small, but this chart is all in percentages on the day. This chart, everything else is by the number. But for some reason, this one changed to percentages. I don't know what the hell's going on there. So I can't use my 5-minute chart. What up, Matt Breezy? Right click over the scale. Appreciate it. Fixed. Thanks, MD. I don't know when I would have changed that. Negative risk to reward is the move. You damn right, Hugh. You always got to take a 10R loss for a 1R gain. It makes the most sense. I use ATR for my hit and run target sometimes. 1 HP, I use ATR for my options targets a lot. That's where I use ATR. Because obviously I don't have it on these charts at the bottom, but if I go over to options, I have it right here. Just that way I can see the current volatility and pricing on the market. That was one of the reasons I was so heavily trading NVIDIA 3 weeks ago. I think it was. Don't hate that at all, MD. What up, Ali? How you doing? MD, you use ATR as well? All right, so those Lucid Fundeds are already live. That's good. Volume starting to build on single stock futures. I mean, we're getting a couple candles. We're getting individual candles to kind of show up. It still looks like ass, though. You need a hell of a lot more volume for that. Really don't like where we're sitting now after that rejection, though. We'll give it another year. It's gonna take probably another year, Marks, for people to even get interested. I use 3x to look for level of stop loss in entry bar, 2 to 3x ATR to look for a better place to place it. Hell yeah. But no, I feel like single stock futures were pretty clear out the gate that they were going to struggle for a bit. Let me put that there so I can still see those. Chat, what trades are you guys in right now? We probably have a decent amount of people short and a decent amount of people long at the exact same time. Chat is currently 46% bearish, 41% bullish, and 13% range. So the thing we've been doing for 13 streams in a row, you guys don't think will happen today? You think we'll actually get momentum? Can't be getting my hopes up like that. Just chilling. It's the way to do it. Was debating on getting one. Wait, can you please explain the Lucid scale on pro accounts? Yeah, Ron. So like when I go on those accounts that I just got funded, it scales based off of your P&L. I can only start trading 2 minis at a time on that until I get past, I think, what, like 1,500, somewhere around there. Whatever the P&L is, I honestly don't know it. Most of the time, actually never am I really trading past 2 minis anyway. So yeah, it scales based off the P&L that you make on the account, which isn't a bad thing if you think about it, right? Because if you take the consistency at 40%, you need like $1,200 per day. 2 minis, that's easy. Where if you trade 4, unless you're scalping, then it just doesn't seem reasonable. Chili, I don't know that because I've never linked TradeAvate to TradingView. Chad, if you have free TradingView and you link TradeAvate, do you get live data? What up, Lambo? You and me both, brother. At this point, I'm riding this trade either into the trenches or up to take profit. What up, NQ? How you doing? Long oil, short GC, waiting for NQ setup to long. But NQ at the moment bearish here. It is. It's getting a decent little pullback here as we're fighting last week's high or last week's lows. Don't end stream until I get 40 minutes. Good boy, AQ. How short do you think my streams are getting? How short do you think these streams are getting if you think we're ending in 40 minutes? How y'all control your size having issues? Marks. I base my size off of my stop loss on the trade. If I think I have a wider stop, like let's say I thought there's a chance my stop was going to be too aggressive on this trade, I'll enter with 4 micros, go to my stop, see what the risk is. If I like the risk or want more, I'll just add to it. If I got in this trade and said, oh shit, that's more than I want to risk on this account, then all I would do is just immediately close some of the position. I mean, how you have the urge to not enter more when in profit, just to watch it evaporate when you're wrong. I rarely add into a trade unless I have conviction to. Unless I see a valid point and it's a prop account or whatever account to where I don't have a consistency rule, then I'm willing to add. If I have a consistency rule, I have no point in adding to it whatsoever because my P&L is capped anyway. But let's say I'm in an account where I don't have a consistency. I'll add in profit with extra added conviction onto the trade. So like for this trade, we got in here. I wouldn't have had a problem if I was looking to trade aggressively on this higher low when we triggered getting back above last week's lows, adding a few contracts. But I already like my stop loss, so I'm not going to add to it. Yeah, it just, the way you worded that last one, though, sounds like you may be in a battle with greed. Because you see the trade working and you want to make more, so you add into it, which gets you to immediately focus on the P&L aspect of it. And at that point, once you're dialed in on P&L, your trade's cooked immediately. It's likely not going to end well. Even if it does, because I've dealt with that in the past. If I'm greedy on a trade, I know either that trade is going to cook me, or that greed is going to carry over into the next 1 or 2 trades, and one of those trades is going to cook me. Still holding the long trade? I am. It's also why I always say manage whatever trade you take, how you want to take it. I'm willing to let this stop hit, is what it is. Because you didn't really have much opportunity to enter at or exit at the open anyway, unless you had a stop or a trim set. Structure is still valid thus far. We haven't really gone anywhere, so I'm willing to just let this one ride. This is also why I wasn't willing to move my stop break even, because I mentioned if we came back down, we're likely going to test this support, which knowing NQ, it's going to be more volatile and it's going to spike below our entry. So that's why I'm not willing to move my stop. I'm slowly realizing on NQ, you cannot treat your stop like I do on ES. It just doesn't work that way. Shrey, it could. It easily could. We could get the initial Asia Open, slam those lows, and then see where we go from there. Vantis, wait till you love the chart. Never take an entry just because I'm in one. Always follow the strategy you want to trade. Don't just follow some dude on YouTube. Because obviously there's times I lose. This trade was also more aggressive when I took it. And right now it looks like it may get stopped. One thing holding us up though is ES does have some strength. NQ just lagging a little bit. RTY and YM have not moved whatsoever though. So it's just waiting game to see what NQ wants to do. Why am I listening to this dude on YouTube right now? You can listen to the words I say, just not the actions I do. Do as I say, not as I do, like all the people, like all the parents told you when you were younger. Thank you, Psycho. Agreed. Lambo, I've realized that more than ever these past like 3 days that I've been trading NQ. Why is your volume so low? Joanna, my volume shouldn't be low because no one else has problems with it. I know compared to like other streams, it may be a little lower because I've noticed that with other people, like other of our streamers. One thing you got to remember though, the guys you're looking at on stream are our tech guys. We're not that tech savvy, believe it or not. We're truly not. No, MD, they're talking about voice volume. I had that short off 414 yesterday to the modest 3045. Vantis, when we first hopped on stream, I thought of you. I actually thought of you throughout New York today. I'm like, dude, someone had that short from like 213 or 113, whatever it was. And that was the pivot high. Fake glasses just like a stash. Damn, Hugh. I don't know what I did to hurt you, but my bad, dog. I'm very quiet compared to others in YouTube videos in general. I don't know why that would be. I don't. I can look it up, figure it out after stream. But I know the other streams are pretty much the same way. Because if I'm like watching Jake's video and then I go to a different stream, I go deaf. Glasses are sick. Appreciate it, brother. But no, I've known the overall voice has been quiet for a while. You have to turn your volume up a decent bit. Just make sure you turn it down before you go to another string. But it's just something we got to figure out. Bro's candlesticks, not red and green because he's colorblind. Hugo, you just now realizing that? Because, yeah, I've talked about it since day one. My candles are not red and green because colors are a pain in the ass. Good boy. You need a few more beers. Nah, good boy and Q. Just change it to good boy ES. Come to the bright side. Maybe fake glasses, beauty glasses. See what's between. Right? I mean, I do have my actual glasses next to me, but I don't like them. Didn't think action could be more exciting than last night, but here we go. Digital. Now just imagine we get the complete polar opposite of last night. You know what I mean? Then you can adjust the volume in OBS. Your mic's a bit lower for sure. Vantis, I have it at, instead of 0, it's negative 6.5 decibels. But if I turn it all the way up, you guys can hear like the background noises and stuff. So I can't have it all the way higher. Is that a little bit higher? I don't think you can hear anything else. I'm just going to keep teasing it up until something pops up in the background for noises. All right, so you can hear that, but that's not bad. Let's go to 0. All right, we'll go. There. Should be a little bit louder. Much better? But well, why didn't you guys tell me that like 3 days ago? The hell? Can you stop screaming? No, I can't. Send me $10. I'll take 5 shots, bro. Dude, what bar are you in where $10 gets you 5 shots? All right, chat, since we're talking volume, how's the background music? Too quiet, just right. Damn, now I need to turn you down? Well, now you got to fix your volumes. Ambiance is great. Perfect. Let me catch up on chat. Says the guy trading NQ now. Simon, you're not supposed to call me out for that. And like I said, until ES gets out of like a 7 to 10 point range, we got to dabble in the NASDAQ. We got to show some love to the NQ. What do you think that 1 hour gap all the way to the left? The big one? What chart, Westside? 1 hour gap all the way to the left. This one? On ES? Is that what you're referring to? Wait, I just read your comment. What the fuck? No, Peak, the main issue with the mic volume getting lower was because OBS loves to randomly make my mic not work. And then I have to make a new audio, and I just kind of throw the volume wherever for it to work. Song request, I usually don't, just because I just play this like background music. I don't play like regular music too much. Mainly just because Usually on my streams, for some reason, YouTube loves to hit me with that copyright like immediately. So I just avoid it for the most part. I won't have a problem if maybe one day in the future, like one day per week, we start doing that. Except when NQ doesn't show love back. Dude, NQ's been like that lately. I can tell you, I've traded NQ primarily the past 3 days. I don't love NQ. Do I see and understand why people trade it? 1,000%. But this will never be my main chick. Not a shot in hell. This thing's way too volatile. Your primary instrument, ES. It's just when ES has been, like I said, in a 7-point range for the past 14 days. 1, it's not fun to trade. 2, y'all really hate it because the stream numbers drop exponentially when you see ES ranging for 3 points. It is crazy. I could take like a 1.5R trade on ES. Let's say a 2-point stop and a 3-point target. Y'all be like, damn, that sucks. I take that same structure on NQ. Love it. Absolutely love it. Did you trade ES in New York Open? No, I didn't. I actually traded NQ. Normally, though, I trade ES a lot. I just haven't lately. We had DGens and Qs like crack. Even Jake was shocked because some of you guys don't know. Jake did a little sneaky afternoon stream in Lamelli's slot. He just randomly popped on. I just happened to jump on YouTube and saw him. By the way, Asia Opens here. Expect some volatility. See where we go. I'm just going to hold this with my stop where it is. But he hopped on. First, he did giveaways. And then he did a poll of what if you only trade one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? It was like 72% NQ. And even he was shocked by that. Even Jake, the man who primarily trades NQ, said he would do ES. So that's how I know y'all really degen. And he just pays better, but also, yeah. It's the highest paying index by percentage capita for sure. I mean, I've done all that math before. NQ crushes all the other indices. You just got to be able to deal with the volatility. You accidentally long 6 NQ. BL, did you say that on Jake's stream? I believe you said that this morning that you accidentally long 6 NQ. I wonder if the percentage of chat that's profitable matches the 70% that trades NQ. That'd be a really hard thing because you'd have to do a 2-question poll. What's the main thing you trade, and then do you trade, or are you profitable? And then you'll find that out. Make a poll for what? The main asset you trade? Because we did one for payouts before. All right, Chad, I got stopped. GG's to anyone who shorted Asia Open. G's there. All right, where's the other account I want to trade? 063. There we go. Holy wick. Yep. The nice part is I got filled exactly where my order was. So I'm okay with that. Good boy and Q. I'll do the poll. Also, chat, congratulations. So far, you guys were right today on the downside. So I'll end the poll. First day, you guys have actually been right. Fake out. It's not a fake out until if we push back higher, then it's a fake out. For now, we're getting a pretty aggressive push lower. How we react to this is pretty important. I'll just get rid of that. We got stopped. If anyone asks, I'll tell them I lost the trade. I'm not worried about it. Chat, what should I put in this? Just ES, NQ, GC for the poll of what you trade? I feel like those are the main ones anyway. Because we did oil last time and it was like 2%. I think gold's maybe like 5% at most. Shorted but with shivering timbers, as my financial advisor was long. Vish, this is exactly why I always say never blindly follow me. You catch any of the short after your stream? I caught a little tiny piece on an account. It was just one account though. I took one trade and I was done. I didn't trade it until like 10:45-ish. And it wasn't a huge move at all. I think it was like 50 points on NQ. Natural gas. I'll tell you what, Gamma, this'll be for your natural gas. You get other. You get ES, NQ, GC, and other. They're starting to shoot missiles again because I'll full port the short right now. Mantis, I mean, with us now below yesterday's low, that pullback thesis kind of goes out the window for now at least, unless we get back above it. My two theses was either we see a brief pullback into that like 600s to watch how we react to it, or if we do break the lows and get continued selling, this chart can get really ugly. This whole chat is a degen. Oh, good boy, NQ. The poll will be low to high 70s NQ. Every single person in this chat could vote. It'll be low to high 70s on NQ, no matter what. Feel like Asia session might have something tonight. Well, that's valid because we just got, what was that? Almost 90.2 minute candle. Largest move we've had. Apparently NKD just dropped 2%. Hell yeah. What did Mitch DM me? Hang on, let me see what Mr. Gamma said real quick. Yeah, Ollie, the first time we ran that poll, it shocked me. Ever since then, not even the slightest. All right, so we have, I mean, if ES wants to get ugly, we got a little bit of support here around 700s. If it wants to get ugly, it can go towards like 65s, followed by 620s. Can you put ANF for me? Rain, what the hell's ANF? Traded NG once and lost. I've never traded natural gas at all. Appreciate you, Jesse. Ollie, you know what's actually shocking me a little bit more? There hasn't been a lot of people that have voted on the poll yet. But for now, their ES is currently losing to gold as the main asset. That shocks the shit out of me. What up, Bugs? She's been mixed up in it hard. Chili, what chart do you want the overall levels on for me? Because I have those all marked up on this series of charts for like my 4-hour pivots and levels. What is the next move? The next move for me is watching to see what the indices want to do here. NQ, please? Sure. So this is where I do my pre-market analysis. If you guys look at this chart, you will know exactly where I get all of my broader pivots from. A big overall support for me was this like 630s area. We have lost that. We're going to have a little bit of support, which I probably should mark here, around 500s. If we hold that, we're still holding this broader structure low that I was willing to take that stab off of. Anything below that, though, I'm looking down towards like 290 to 300. So it's my levels are always pretty decently apart because I'm using 4-hour broader pivots. It's 500 and then all the way down to like 300s for me. Mainly just because if you look at this, all we did here was rip through it. No real support or resistance on the 4-hour. And then we came down, spiked it again, and got bought back up. So we haven't really traded in this structure in the near time frame. But yeah, no, so we have 500s. If we lose 500s, I'm looking for 3s. Especially because the last wick low that we've had tested that area again. So it already shows that it's a pretty decent support. Yes, I would love to see us go down to 690s if we continue to be bearish here. I'm going to be more patient. Wait for a little bit of structure to build off this move. How are these dividend race levels? Are so much closer. Shane, I would assume. It's my take on them. It's just how I do levels for futures. It's different by a few aspects. And it's just the way that I've paid attention to. I've actually gotten a few people to chart them the same way I do, just off of how well they react. But it's just changing the time frame, changing a couple settings on your chart, and just the broad structure of what I've analyzed. Because it took me probably 6 months of staring at that 4-hour chart to figure out exactly how I want to mark levels and structure. It does come with a bit of intuition of just looking at prior price action. But it's just, it is as simple as looking for 4-hour pivots. It's what I do on the 15-minute chart on stream that gets me these pivots, but I'm on the 4-hour. Yep, all of my index levels on futures for a broader scale target come off the 4-hour. So what you're saying here is full port short. I don't know if I would be full port shorting this. But then again, there's obviously a lot of degens in here. So if you want to, you do you. Yeah, MD. I love using the 4-hour. If I fully focus on the 4-hour, I trade a lot less. Hey, bro, you promised me another 30 minutes. I'm not going anywhere. Don't you worry. What do you think about 7680? I have 7690. And if I ever look at a level, now this is going to be something not a lot of people say or talk about in this perspective. Right now, I have 7690.5. To me, it's not this has to hit 7690.5 or 7690.5 is the exact pivot that I'm watching. It's a little support area. Could be a few points below, could be a few points above. I just use them to keep an eye on the broader structure that priorly happened, like back here. So right here, Vish, 7680-ish is around here. 7690 is right here. Same support. Minus 510. As long as you're willing to risk that, nothing wrong with that. But no, Vish, I like that broader support because I see those highs that you're looking at. If this goes short, NQ probably going to 29, 250, 280. So short with 2-3 MNQ is enough to make some bread without tears. Agreed, Vantus. Like I said, if this chart does end up not getting any buying pressure, this can get really freaking ugly. ES does have room towards 680s. If we break 680, like 690, 680s, my next support is down around last month's high, which is 630s. That's a decent move tomorrow. NQ, you have a little bit of support because of the prior daily ranges. But if we break this daily low, likely going to head down towards 300s, which if you look is just this daily high pivot plus the 4-hour that I just showed you guys. We have room to get ugly for sure. And right now, especially after this move, bulls should have easily gotten back above the open here on ES. Wasn't able to. The second we broke back below last week's lows, we sold off aggressively. Yeah, bitch, I like that idea. Especially with the Middle East tensions, etc. The 4 hour now is to stay above 250, still be valid to continue higher. Yeah, and the main reason, because there will be people that probably jumped in stream and they're like, dude, why is he bullish? We're in an aggressive downtrend. That's part of the reason why. All I wanted to see was that little push higher back up into this little high. Very similar to what we did last night on NQ, where we looked for that little bit of a rally higher into that prior 4 hour high, in which then we could watch the reaction to see if we want to short off of that. So I was looking for a very similar thesis. It ended up playing out the exact same way where it didn't quite get all the way to target and then sold off. Funny part is, I know at one point, obviously here, we were decently green. I have no clue what my P&L even was. You guys know more than I do because I didn't even look at it. Dollar steadily falling and evaporize my gold short. Gold holding. Yeah. Gold held. The wildest thing is, this may just be a little bit of delusion in me. I'm still not opposed to us rallying up on the 4 hour. I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm not blindly stabbing though. I will say that. Need conviction before any type of long whatsoever. I wouldn't be willing to long unless we got back above at least 514 or 530s. Just rejected yesterday's low too. Yep. Shane, that's always on my charts. This YDL is yesterday's low. So like today's price action's low before this session. What is the overall goal of Project 365? I'll tell you this. Honestly, Project 365 saved my life. Taught me to take losses, become okay with tilts. Because everyone has them. It does. Thank you. And there's a wild world out there with influencers where people think they always win. They're always doing well. You guys have seen me lose a shitload of trades on stream. You guys have seen Jake, Alan, Christian, Mitch, all of us lose a shitload of trades. It's a part of it. And it's how you take the trades. Like I could tweak out because this, oh my God, it went against me. It nuked lower and it hit my stop. Oh, well. There will be more trades. I can easily trade that account tomorrow, take a 2 hour trade, make that plus more back. It's just a part of it. You just got to get, it takes a while, but you just got to get used to being willing to lose. The overall goal of Project 365, the main aspect obviously is to be able to be sustainable, to be able to keep us running. Most people may not think it, but this costs a decent amount of money, especially with the giveaways for Jake per month. Right? You have 4 streamers plus Jake plus all the giveaways he runs, and you guys see how many he's ran in the past. Just get it sustainable. And then obviously being able to actively stream for you guys, for all of us. I love what I do. I don't see a single streamer on Project 365 that's like, they may not really love this. You can tell everybody loves sitting here trading live in front of the chats. Everyone has off days, but that's just a part of it. But no, I love being here and actually seeing the impact we make. Like even right there, if I take a losing trade, there's probably a good handful of you guys that absolutely banked on that short. And that's amazing. Like I love seeing that. Also, the DMs you guys get, like you guys send us, are insane. Like me and Jake have been put together in a few DMs where people send messages, and it means a lot. It does. But it's the same reason I've always wanted to, because when I first started early on, not in my trading career, but outside of that, I always wanted to find a way to like be able to impact people in a good way. So I tried out a few careers that could do that outside of like welding and sales that I did. And I didn't really love the careers. And then I got into trading, got to the part where I was at least consistently profitable enough to like live. And then I started working one-on-one with people and just seeing the impact you can make. Like if I make somewhat of an impact on some one person's trading to where they're at least consistent, they can change their entire family's life, which is wild. I know Jake doesn't just request free affiliate accounts. Hugh, that is the craziest part. Is Jake could request free accounts, but he buys them. He puts respect where respect is, and he puts the money out and buys those accounts. Obviously, he's honest when he gets some free ones from firms, but he buys 95% of the accounts. I legit follow creators who seem to win every day, always win, and if it's a loss, they go one win, one loss, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Gamma, if you go look at my Instagram, yeah, obviously you don't have to, but I'm just going to talk about it. If you look at my Instagram and scroll through all my reels, it will look like I am abundantly rich. But I still take losses in between those posts. You always have to remember, social media is someone's highlight reel for the most part. Where if they're showing P&L, if they're showing it, no one's going to show a day for the most part where they get absolutely smoked. I have in the past on my stories, but I've never posted it to my feed and be like, yeah, guys, I just got railed by the market. But most people just aren't going to do that. At least on these, you guys see us win or lose live. And there ain't shit I can do about it. If I take a losing trade, I can't just be like, well, all y'all got to forget about that. Hugh, he probably will at some point. Best losers, the best winners. Personally, I can call the moves out pretty on point. It's just my losing days that rail me. Been profitable this year finally, but won't trade a personal account yet. Yeah, Vantis, number one thing there is just you have to, most people need to try this because I've done it multiple times. You need to size down to the point of where you do not physically have any attachment to a loss. You guys have seen me take $550 losses. You guys have seen me lose $50. I wouldn't say any of those on stream have like mentally impacted me for the most part. To where I've looked at it and been like, damn. The only time I've been like that is when I got wicked out like 8 streams in a row. And we were just, when we first started to get heavily range bound, it was just very, very tight price action. I just didn't love the market. That was the only time overall price action just irritated me. Chat, we're getting steady buying pressure back up. Like I said, this will be a late entry if I take it. I'm not interested unless we get above last week's lows and yesterday's lows on NQ. I'm not. I might even take it on ES because I think the risk reward could be there. But I'm not trying to be aggressive on this if I do long. It's waiting for the structure to give us that conviction. Because if we do push back above, one, Asia session just a complete dick at that point. But we have a really big hourly and 4-hour failure now, which looks a hell of a lot better than this little inside bar we ended up with. So later on, that's when I'd be more interested in potentially taking it. And I think if the market does trend to the upside throughout the overnight, there will be multiple entries. So I'm not going to feel bad if I miss, like if this just gets 1 bar consolidation, then rips. Oh well. One note took me off Monday, 2K viewers, and I was like, bro, you're in the wrong chat. I was only in the live stream because Jake ended early. I was like, what the? Yeah, I mean, it's different personalities, but everyone has their own little group of viewers that follows them. There's nothing wrong with that. You also have to remember they've been streaming a lot longer on YouTube than we have. Right? I mean, we have Alan who now pushes 500 to 600 at 1 a.m. in the morning Eastern. Obviously, he has a broader audience because all of Europe's there as well, which is phenomenal. But yeah, he's crushing it. Jake's been well over 1,000 followers or viewers so far, which is insane. So the growth's been great. What up, Seven? Future trading New York and Asia sessions, and also having 9 to 5. My brain is just on OT. Danny, you and me both, brother. Because, you know, obviously I don't have the 9 to 5, but I trade a lot of sessions. If I'm either trading or actively watching charts for a trade. Alan the legend, always. Alan is the legend. Someone did ask. I think I skipped over that. Oh no, there it is. Did you do Jake's mastermind? Yes, I did his very first mastermind. I took mastermind 1 5 years ago. I think it was. All right, Chad, just like that, NQ is now back above yesterday's lows. So after the huge flash crash, we're right back where we got stopped out. Hell yeah, Danny. That also says a lot about, I just want to point on this real quick for a second. That says a lot about the community that we've worked on building. And I can say we because I've been, ever since Mastermind 1, I was a part of Jake's team after like 3 months. That we've worked on building just in as a whole. We have people from Mastermind 1 5 years ago still tuning into streams. That's crazy. Slowly getting into profitable years. Danny, that's the biggest thing. It's a you versus you battle. Time does not matter. Obviously, it helps if you get there quicker, and everyone would love to get there in 2 days, but it'll take time. Interesting. I wouldn't have thought about that. Anyone obsessed with trading should try to learn chess. It's so addictive. Let you sometimes forget about losses. Interesting. I feel like it's also a lot of in-depth thinking in real time, which helps as well. Foxtrot, I don't know what quantitative trading is referring to. I just don't know anything about it. So I can't really answer that well. Peak, you're in this. Down off this candle, I would assume. Dude, this one or this one. Either on ES or NQ. Go play Halo helps too. I mean, MD, instead of playing chess, I just play video games with my homies. But I would like chess. I've played it before. I've just never gotten insanely into it. Chess is good for when you're staring at a chart. You shouldn't trade. 1 HP. I have 2 crazy games that I do. Some people in Discord will know this. If I don't, like if New York Open's happening and I genuinely don't want to trade, I'll just load up Minesweeper. It's one of the most frustrating games to play. But I would just sit there and play Minesweeper for fun. That, or I've always been obsessed with like Sudoku since I was young. What are your reaction from the low? Good buying pressure thus far, but now I'm going to watch to see if we're either putting in a lower high or if we end up consolidating below yesterday's lows to get that push back above. Never played video games in my life. Sometimes I feel like I'm not normal. Keep it that way, Peak. There's a very fine line between like an addiction and just what you think you can play. So, I mean, there's days I'll play, like, if I have absolutely nothing to do, I'll play with my buddies for a while. But then there's days I'll play for like half an hour. But there's people who literally play 8 to 10 hours every single day. I used to be like that when I was in like middle school. I was obsessed. But it's something you can easily get addicted to. What up, Christian? I play 1 to 2 hours daily online for chess. Hell yeah. So remind me to never play you in chess because I will get smoked. Bro played 8 hours of Minesweeper? No, you not. I'm talking like games with the homies, not Minesweeper. But no, I do play Minesweeper during New York session at times. play 1 minute games only. So AMG, you're playing like 60 to 120 games a day. No, Hugh. Now I just think you're trolling. Make a poll guessing how many beers I had. Good boy, thank you. I'm not making a poll to guess how many beers you've had. That doesn't benefit the chat whatsoever. Way more? Damn. You know what price would be different on TradingView versus Trade-Evade? What? Stop loss Poppy, what are you looking at? That price is different. Curious minds would like to know. Well, then chat, guess. Oh, he already spilled it. Hugh, actually, I didn't. I never got into D&D or anything like that. All right, good boy and Q. Send the account information over, and I'll do it. Yeah, but stop loss Poppy. What ticker? What name? Trade NQ to win off Minesweeper. No, dude, I've been trading NQ lately, and I need to go back to playing Minesweeper. Because fuck this chart. Yes. My ES chart's correct. Only thing I can think of is if you're looking at TradingView and you don't have subscription, you have 15-minute delayed data. Do you pay for live data on TradingView? I do. Because if not, it's like 10 to 15 minutes delayed. 7. You won one from Good Boy and Q, not me. I may not get an entry that I want to take. We may just get aggressive momentum, which is unfortunate. We do have strong buying pressure coming in. Gold looks really good here. If it does hold like 91.5s, that doesn't look bad at all. I would just like more of like a 5-15 minute bar that I can trade off of. Because we honestly haven't moved a crazy amount, right? ES off that sell-off was 8.5 points. NQ off of that sell-off was 77-ish. So it's not like we were in an overextended level or it's a crazy reversal. I'd be willing to trade a continuation even if we just got like 2 5-minute bars. Past 3 TPT on this climb up. Hell yeah, brother. What would you say to someone who blew 822 prop accounts in the last week? Hang on. I got you. 1 second. Let's see. See if this works real quick. Perfect. Hugh, I got you. So you're saying what I say to someone who blew up 822 accounts last week? This is you. Your 823rd could have done it. This is you right here. That's the payout. You were so close, and you just gave up. You were 1 away. On the math on what? I'd say you got good money, don't need trading. You right. How many payouts you need to be break even? Well, it depends on the account. Typical accounts are, let's just say 110, 115. So you're looking at what, $9,600? So just 5 payouts on a 50K. Oh no, you said 820. I did 120. Yeah, multiply that by a shitload. You need a lot more payouts than that. So for sure, I've been watching the stream since starting my trading journey in May. Learned the mastermind system and feel like I won the lotto in my first trading strategy. Group I follow is y'all. Hell yeah, Zach. I'm glad you're part of the community. At the same time, I mean, I got lucky too. It's the second trading group I was ever in, but I never paid for a single system outside of this. So I got blessed with that as well. But no, I'm glad you've been enjoying it, my man. You're cooked. Yeah, cooked. Like 90K, so a single My Fund of Futures Pro plan. Yeah, Hugh, you just got to get a couple TPT accounts and do what Jake did. Make 40K in one day and you are vibing. I also live in Central Ohio. I hear you in Ohio. Need to get Jake here. Zach. As much as I would love to have a meetup in Ohio, I don't think that's really on the list. I don't. I've joked about it to Jake before, but if we told chat, hey, we're doing our next big meetup in Ohio, most of them would be like, oh, hell no. But no, at some point, we'll see if he comes up. Where are you from? Ohio? Get him to a Buckeyes game. Get him in the shoe. Zach, if you get him in the shoe, you got to get him all the way up at the top in the nosebleeds. So that way he gets the real experience. As long as the meetup isn't in Cincy. Agreed, Spencer. People may joke on Ohio, but there's nothing worse than Cincy. Is this going to be the only little pullback we get? Unfortunately. I'm trying to see if we consolidate here for one reason. And it's why I'm being slightly patient. NQ obviously isn't at its open yet. Whatever. ES, RTY, and YM are all battling their opens. I would love if we can just base here a little bit into the end of the hourly close. Close the hourly looking just like this. Maybe a little bit stronger. And then I'd be interested in a continuation. Then I'd be really interested in the chart. So since 3 of the indices are fighting the open, that's why I'm just waiting a little bit. I really hope this isn't the only like 2-minute consolidation candle. Right? If we have one red bar on ES from the lows, I don't know what to tell y'all. I already took one aggressive entry. I don't mind taking another because we're on a different account. But I'm going to wait. And it may bite me in the ass. Hello, handsome. Sorry, late join. What up, hunting pips? Do we long here 7? I like the overnight upside. I do. Especially now with this broader failure. Got into it and pointed to you guys by my head. Jiu-jitsu instructor. He's been following you guys for years. Wait. I got it pointed to you guys by my head jiu-jitsu. Oh, hell yeah, Zachary. We actually have a lot of people that are, I have a few people that follow me that are like big jiu-jitsu instructors, which is kind of cool. It's wild. If I just randomly go through, and I swear this isn't like a flex at all because who cares? But I've randomly just gone through my follows before and I've had like NFL players following me. I'm like, what the hell kind of world is this? In the cover section too, right behind the Big Man post in the shoe. Yes, Zach. Perfect. I live in Youngstown. I'd be down. I used to work out in Youngstown. I've worked out in Youngstown and Boardman. Need a real push higher in the dollar oil for GC to tumble down properly. It's hard for me because we talked about this in the beginning of the stream, and I'm wondering if anyone took this. By the way, do I need to start dabbling into gold now? Because the last 3 days, we've called out gold pretty perfectly. It looked more bearish right here, but I wanted to see how he reacted to yesterday's lows, which is right around here at 383.3. We hit those lows, swept them, held, and it's just been up ever since. What up, Sean? How you doing, brother? We do not speak of gold anymore. Yeah, we do, Spence. I'll get your ass on stream, and we'll only talk about gold. Ivory guns. 8 trades. I don't think we can have that kind of meetup. We can do that without like the whole group aspect, but that needs to be a smaller meetup. Where's my lady, Miss K? She was on at the beginning of the stream. Some people don't know this, but Miss K hops on like 30 minutes before I even get on stream. Joe and Bro made $14 this AM. Damn, dude, you rich. I mean, you've been on a heater lately, so it's just a little break-even cool-off day. I mean, this market's been a little wild. I'm glad we're finally getting some volatility back to give us some momentum. This session has been brutal, so I love seeing this, even though I'm not currently in it. But I think it gives some good opportunity for later on in the session. You've been on a stinky streak? I must be viewing the wrong Instagram stories. I could have swore you were on a heater. I'm wanting an aggressive short here, but we haven't any failure to go higher, really. Chris, what makes you want the aggressive short? Stinking in a great way. Oh, bet. I was going to say, you've been crushing it. Would be sick if we reclaim 615.50 and then continue a larger move. Danny, if we get above that 6 times, which this is so dumb because the trade target's going to hit. We just needed a 70-point pullback first, and then it's going to move. But if we get above this 615s on NQ, which primarily gets us back above this low, we do have a lot of room. I mean, we could easily go back towards 800s, which is the next like 4-hour resistance. So that's why I'm saying if we do rally throughout the overnight, I think there's a lot of opportunity, which is why I'm not worried if I miss something on this leg. But now we just got to continue to watch how we play off the open. Because if we do continue to hold last week's lows and yesterday's lows, which we've now swept, we can look for that push into 610s on NQ. Above 610 to like 620-ish, I think there's a lot of upside. If buyers do step in. Because they've been sleeping lately. See you later, Hugh. Yeah, MD, there's plenty of room. And it might just be one of those things where post-stream it ends up setting up towards that 4-hour close after that like 10 p.m., 10:30-ish mark, which I usually talk about every day. It's one of the greatest times to trade, and it's one of my favorites to trade. But someone did mention the short. I don't know if Chris, aggressive short. Testing 208 opening print. Yeah, I mean, Chris, I'm not saying a short can't work out because obviously I took a small stab long earlier and it fucking nuked. But hardest part for me is how this hourly is kind of closing. If I wanted to short, depending on the next 17 minutes, obviously, we still have 17 minutes of this hourly. If this closes stronger, if I wanted to short, I would really want to see like 715 slam and then fade all the way back below the open. It's just hard for me to look at this because and here's how I vision it and why I talk about the hourly close in 17 minutes. You have 17 minutes with this structure. This is currently what the 15 looks like, and this is what the 5 looks like. Can we pull back a little bit? Yes. And I don't want to talk anybody out of any shorts, so if you're looking to short, just ignore me. But the main thing I'm watching is current structure leans more so to the upside. unless this candle pushes all the way back below 530s, which is possible, this candle looks a little more bullish than bearish thus far, even though it is at the lower end of a downtrend. And we would need in the next 16 minutes for it to get back down here for that short to look a lot better. So that's kind of why I look at towards the end of the candles, because now you put the setup and trade on a timer. This would need to happen in 16 minutes for me to be overly interested in shorting this kind of setup right now. So that's what makes me be more patient towards the end if I don't love it. It's a coffee night and hit Allen stream. It's always a coffee night and hit Allen stream. I probably drink way more coffee. But like I said, though, I'm not talking anybody out of a trade. If you want to short, do your thing. Being patient, then yeah, just wait for like a lower high or something like that if you want to short. Or whatever your criteria is to get in. What time is that? 7 p.m. PST for the 10 p.m.? Yes. Yep, 3-hour difference. Chris, if we were going to fail, I wouldn't want NQ back above 515s. Because this is the low, this is the breakdown. I would have wanted this individual candle right here with this wick to continue that push back down. Set the lower high here, give the failure there, and then give me that rug. Because if we break lower, I would want the most aggressive bearish pressure. Because my thesis is either overnight rally to see how we react to the resistances, or we break those lows with buyers being absent lately and we would sell off aggressively. Thus far, we haven't sold off aggressively. We had one aggressive 5-minute candle that quickly got bought back up. So I'm still leaning more so towards the other side. But just structure-wise, I really would not have wanted this to lose. This 15 fully engulfed it. I would have wanted to hit this, close a little more bearish, go for like a 3 or 4 bar play for continuation down towards that like 400 to 300 area. That's just how I'm currently viewing the chart and why I'm being patient. Is there any significance to that 10 to 10:30 period in other sessions? Well, the main reason I like it is you get the 4-hour close. And if you look, a lot of times you get nice setups and continuation. During New York, this isn't the 4-hour close, but I focus a lot on it between like 10:30 and noon-ish. Because usually there's either a big continuation move or a big reversal within that time period. That's when I love to trade. But the 4-hour open for New York is at 10 a.m. Eastern. So 30 minutes into the open. That's why most of the time I'm not trading that first 30 minutes. Unless I absolutely love a chart and I'm trading options. With futures, most of the time I'm waiting for that to close to give me conviction on the 4-hour, and then I'll let it rip. That's just the trading style and pattern that I personally love. Sorry for the questions, bro. Still new to the futures. Danny, if I had a problem with questions, I wouldn't answer them. Ask away, my man. What's that called at 7 p.m. PST? Just a 4-hour close. It's all, so you have Globex, which is technically the overnight session, but Asia opens at 8 p.m. Eastern, so 5 p.m. PST, 46 minutes ago. And then you have a few more markets that open up throughout the early overnight. Yeah, Chris, that's why my main thesis is just waiting for now for a pullback to potentially long later on. I also have those 2 new funded accounts that one new funded account that I got, and then one from earlier today that I can trade as well. So I have a few accounts I can rotate throughout the overnight to take a few stabs. Talk about options, interested because hedging positions. MD, I will say right out the gate, if you're interested in hedging, look towards your man Mitch more. And this is just how honest I am. Because I could usually be like, hell yeah, dude, call me. We'll do a one-on-one, whatever. Nah. Mitch hedges a lot for like longer term hedging, all of that based off of market structure, fundamentals, whatever's happening in the economy. I don't hedge a whole lot unless I have like a super long dated swing. So he would be the main man for like hedging aspects out of the streamers. Forex Factory flagged FOMC minutes as a red flag news tomorrow. I feel like FOMC minutes is always a red folder. Because it's always on when I look up the weekly. But it doesn't, it usually, the only way FOMC minutes has a big impact is if someone jumps on and says something completely out of the blue that we don't expect. Yeah, MD, the main reason is because with hedging aspects, he does very well with spreads and butterflies. And I know them, but I don't trade them as much as he does. So he just has a greater depth of knowledge in them. Yeah, 8 trades. If you're talking about like for prop firm trading, you can always just check the prop firm's websites to see if they allow you to trade through the minutes or not. Because obviously you don't want to blow an account trading through it. By the way, chat, there's currently 157 of you guys on here. First off, appreciate you guys. Second, we have 73 likes on stream, so hit that thumbs up button. Let's get to 100 if we can by the end of stream. YM and RTY are still a bit weaker. I want to see a decent consolidation in the next 10 minutes. I don't want to see an aggressive pullback, but I want to see a consolidation. Because I really don't want this candle to turn into a doji on the hourly. If it does, I may not be interested in trading till probably like 10:30 at least, or 11-ish. If we get a strong hourly close here, I may be interested a little bit earlier. Just try to short at 29,580. Damn. You sniped that thing. 86 stop loss. Otherwise, I'm locking out. Vantis, you going for the gusto tonight? Is after yesterday? Or are you just doing a little base hit? Go over this year, buy the N experiment on a prop firm. Yeah, so MD, do you trade your self-funded, like do you trade a self-funded account? $744, I'm trying to pass a Lucid Pro in one shot. My man. If it's a Lucid Pro, I'm willing to try to pass it in one shot. That's probably the only account that I'm willing to trade aggressive. Because the other account I trade, which is Traded by Select, has consistency. But because you can, if you do well, and I'm not always aggressive on them, just sometimes I am. If you do well, you can get funded that day within minutes, like I did. And then you can technically, if you do well the next 3 trading days, you can get a payout in 3 days total from when you buy the account. Which is another part of the reasons why I like the pros. Danny, it used to be Lucid Flex through and through. Then I started trading the pros a little bit, and I like them a lot. I do. Especially just for the fact the day you pass them, if you do well that day. Plus, they have the 40% consistency instead of 35. And they don't have 5 days of trading that you need, just 3. But you can get a payout within 3 days of when you buy the account, which is fast. Trying the daily. I haven't tried the daily yet, Spence. No, Johnny, I've looked at them. I've never bought them. There's one reason why I'm not overly interested. But it's, if I ever try TPT, I'm going to have to suck it up anyway. But it's the fact that the dailies have intraday. And yes, on the eval, you can turn off intraday, right? You can go end of day, daily loss limit off. Obviously, it makes the account pretty damn expensive. Well, that's the 100K. My bad. End of day off. That's not bad. 119. But what I don't love here, because you're turning off drawdown, turning off daily loss limit. You do have 50% consistency, which isn't bad. But you go to funded rules, and the drawdown immediately goes to intraday. So you're paying more to turn off the drawdown, but then you get it the second you get funded. I don't like that. It just doesn't seem like it makes sense to me. Once you hit the buffer, it stops. So yeah, that's how TPT is. That's how most accounts are. Any account that has intraday drawdown, once you hit a buffer, it's gone. You just got to get to the buffer. Equals 90%. TPT is 80%. Vantis, I actually didn't know that. I didn't know TPT was 80% because I've yet to trade with them. Yeah, NQ Trader, that's how all firms are, though, where the intraday doesn't count against you if you're over the buffer. Once you hit the buffer on any account, it goes to a static drawdown. Like on the pros, if I make $2,200, the drawdown goes to a static amount at $50,100. So that's how every prop firm is once you're past buffer. This is what you people talk, starting to get a grasp. Oh, wait. Yep, always. Hell yeah. Starting to get a grasp. Not so convinced so far versus my own account, but I think worth because ROI to aid my main account. MD, it can definitely be worth it. You just have to either have the mindset of the ROI game or the trade it like your personal account. And you need to primarily stick to one. For you, it could be worth it for the ROI game, but I would be a little more particular on which accounts I use, right? Like if you're trading your own personal account, it's not necessarily going to make sense for you to go to a prop firm that has a $2,000 max payout every 5 days. Now, mind you, that can be nice. Obviously, $2K every week, phenomenal. But it's just, it would make more sense for you to have one that's more advantageous for larger payouts. Thank you, Trader. Apex does what? Apex has a buffer on their accounts where if you get over, it's a static drawdown. Because I used to trade with Apex a lot in the past. Unless they changed that rule. If they did, holy hell, that's horrible. Thank you going green today. Well, it's 6 points away, so we'll see. We're at a point now where it's going to be who wins, Bulls or Bears. We have this overall open that we're fighting with. If at any point we get above that and trend into the 610s and then above, I lean to the upside. If we continue rejecting the open, we could easily push lower. Easily. Still crazy. So we ended up getting 122 votes on the poll. I appreciate more people stepping into ES. So now ES is, in front of gold. However, all right, someone just voted off ES. Appreciate that. NQ is 73% of you guys. And ES is 15%. That is crazy. That is just insanely crazy. Trade days, 5-day pass. Under 4,000 is a 50% profit split. You can withdraw first day, even 1,000. Vantis, you had me until the $4,000 50% profit split. Or is it under 4,000 you can take 50% of your profit? Because there's a big difference there. Well, I love how aggressive NQ moves when it does. Agreed. I mean, after the last few days, I've passed multiple accounts trading NQ. I understand it. But when NQ is a little moody shit, I hate everything about it. And I understand how you guys feel on a day-to-day perspective. Yeah, NQ Trader. No, Apex has they have the trailing drawdown, but once you get past the buffer, then it goes static. They also now have accounts that are end of day. I traded those once they first came out. Yeah, Vantis, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I get that, yeah, you can take 50% or whatever, or you can take $1,000, but a 50% profit split is diabolical, especially because they put that on over 4K number because most traders aren't going to make over 4K. So you're likely going to have to trade more aggressive if you're trying to make more than 4K in one day on it, which gives a higher probability of blowing the account. So that's kind of leverage to make you push for that 4K number to give a higher probability of blowing the account. I don't love that. Now, mind you, most prop firm rules have that same aspect in them. I just don't love the way that's structured. I've traded, yes, like 10, 20 times. I think maybe less. Don't even remember if I lost or what happened so long ago. See, I'm the opposite. I've traded NQ a handful of times in my career. I've traded like a lot more than that, but ES is my bread and butter. Yeah, Jesse, Apex is legit with payouts. You will see a lot of people on social media saying Apex is scamming them. Apex denied their payout. All that is 98% of the time is someone broke the rules that they agreed to, aren't willing to admit they broke the rules or think they should get special treatment, and they get denied the payout. I've had one payout from Apex that was approved to be paid out, and then it got denied. Why? Because before they took the money out of my account, I traded it aggressively like a little degen and blew it. This was like 3.5 years ago, but still, I know for a fact that payout got denied because I was a little degenerate and I wanted to make more. But no, Apex does pay slower. They will approve your payout typically same day. They'll take the money out of your account, but you can usually expect the money in your bank account in like a week. So that aspect is a little bit slower, but they are cheap. Danny, you just started trading futures 3 weeks ago, and you're ripping NQ. All power to you, my man. All power to you. All right, chat. I'm going to do one last poll before I look to wrap up. Beginner's luck. Could be. All right, chat. One last quick poll. Where do we go throughout the rest of the overnight? Higher or lower? You bullish or bearish? I'm not putting neutral in, no. Y'all got to pick one. I think we still bearish. Could be. I'm not firm convinced either way yet, but the inner me still leans more to the upside than downside. I still, no matter what, lean more to the upside. So what that tells me, though, is I'm either waiting for a long setup that I love or I'm likely not trading. Jag, quit snitching. Quit fucking snitching. You're not supposed to give out my strategy. There's no way chat goes 2 for 2 tonight. NQ must break the 1 hour structure to continue higher. That's not far, though. Depending on which structure you're talking about. Are you talking about just this hourly high that we just made? Because that's just high of the session. So 586s, we need 43 points. That's possible. But like I said, for me, I lean to the upside into 610s right here. So it's not crazy. If we get above 610s, then I like a broader upside move towards like 800-ish. Agreed, MD, which is why typically I'm going to be looking at this chart. How does this 4 hour close? Do we end up continuing holding this, getting a pushback up higher? If we close the 4 hour at 410s, I might take one of that new eval and give it a little sender overnight. Who knows? My only doubt is that levels of interest going higher. It's just over 610s. My next area of interest is not even joking, like 800 on NQ. There's going to be resistance along the way, but that is the next area that I'm targeting. And I'd be willing to make a trade throughout the overnight on NQ exactly, probably MNQ, and just see if we get up there. What's your upside target for ES if we push up overnight? Let me take a little gander. $40 to $50. Because if you look at NQ, the way we look at it, where are we kind of targeting? 610s is around this 4 hour low. The next 800s is this 4 hour pivot lined up with this 4 hour pivot. That's why I'm looking at 800s. It's this broader pivot in the market. Are we likely going to put up a fight around 725s because of this? Sure. But that's what I'm looking for. And even so, let's say you're broader bullish on the market. This would still technically, or broader bearish on the market. This could still technically be a bearish move. You get a rally up into this and aggressively slam off of that, that can easily push back lower. I'm using the wrong arrow. But if you get a push up here, see how it reacts to this, it could easily go back down. Then you get a daily little push higher in New York. Look for that big reversal in New York open. Looks fine. But if we go back to ES, that overall area would be this low here for the first broader target, around like 77.50, 45-ish. Above there, hard target is today's highs at 770s. So 750, 770s on ES. We do need to get above last week's low, which is 740s. What we miss, Zay, I took one short trade or one long trade here. Didn't get all the way to target. Nuked on Asia, and then we've been sitting cash cents. But I'm looking for like just a broader move overnight if we get it. That is where I lean. That is what I'm going to be looking for. If it doesn't work, I'll be wrong. But I think there's a higher probability it does than it doesn't. We'll check with Alan by that time. It'd be a cleaner structure for sure. Agreed. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for now. I don't hate early longs. Like if I take one, I'll probably throw a few micros on either ES or NQ and just let it go with a wider stop. I definitely lean higher. I think chat's right on this poll. Bro's going to go play some Battlefield. Shut up, Spencer. Shut up. Either that or Rocket League. We'll see. But that's not going to be for like another 30-ish minutes to an hour. Possibly. Did you give away a TPT tonight? No, Ron. I didn't get the TPT codes. I'm not it. I didn't get that one. I'm holding off a little bit on giveaways. Also, we're still doing tests to see how you guys like the streams on this stream. I'm seeing like viewer counts, likes, just interactions in general. I'll still run one this week. I'm just not running one every single night. So I'm slowing down a little bit at least. Unless if we start getting like free codes from the prop firms, I'll rip them. Are we getting graded social score? Always. Ron, I look at the analytics more than people would even understand. They don't bother me at all if they change because people are going to be people. For instance, something you can notice from stream, even as a viewer. When I was in the NQ trade, we had 200 viewers. 20 minutes after I exited the NQ trade, we had 130. So like even just being in a random position people will flood to the stream and watch. Slap 10-minute queue off 544. Danny, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think we see. If my thesis works, I don't think we see that price again. Wait, bro, give me 5 minutes. No. Ron, did you win and he didn't give it to you? We have monkey brains, don't blame us. Spencer, I don't blame people. That's just the world of TikTok. So what I basically need to do to keep people on stream is just go trade on TradingView, enter like 1,000 lot contract on whatever name I'm not trading, and just let people watch that the whole time. It'd probably work flawlessly. Flip, what do you mean we were at a good show? And why set up? Oh, no, Ron. And it's the same thing I do. People will win a giveaway. I'm like, damn, haven't you won before? But no, it's just because we see your guys' name a lot. You're on every single stream. Yeah, we're going to think you won because your name is always in the back of our head when we're looking at it. Also, don't forget putting Subway expense. Do you know how much... And this is the crazy stat about life. And this is the last comment that I'm hopping. If I put like in the blank video or blank spot underneath my P&L, if I just put a Subway Surfers montage, my view rate would probably be way longer than it is. Obviously, the view rate's not bad for duration, but it would probably double if I just left a little montage there because people would just stare at it when I'm not doing anything. And it's crazy. I thought I won real quick. Oh, no. We need to do it. No, we're trying to get away from TikTok brains, not be in TikTok brains. But chat. What did I just click? Do you watch Asia Initial Balance before deciding? No, I don't. But chat, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Call it a night. I still like longs. I think they work throughout the overnight. Dream World NQ could see that like 800-ish area. I'm not saying it's guaranteed up there. That would be like absolute Dream World target. Dream World target for me on ES would be like 750s, possibly 770s. That would be more so towards New York. But I'm just interested in it. There's a probability this daily candle does something like this, where we get a big bearish candle and just reverse it. I think the market can sell off aggressively at some point. I just don't think it's ready for that yet. I don't. I truly don't. We'll see if I'm right or not come stream tomorrow. But y'all have a great rest of your night. I will see you guys tomorrow. Alan's on 1 a.m. Eastern like usual. Jake's on 9 a.m. in the morning. Y'all have a great rest of your night. See y'all. You have a good one, brother.